Hello everyone, in tonight's video I'm going to talk and tie an Alexandra fly, but before I do that I want to introduce something that I've been thinking to do for a long time, and that's a presentation, sort of presentation of a book that I like very much by two Serbian authors, Aleksandar Panić and Goran Grubić, and it's called Tales About Flies. That would be a rough translation of their title. But what is it all about? It's about traditional flies, famous flies that we all know, but they all have a little story how the fly was invented, who was the inventor, or just a short tale that would give a personality to the fly. So tonight we are going to talk about Alexandra, the fly that had two names. The latest is Alexandra. The first one is the Lady of the Lake. Mr. Turtle changed the name into Alexandra to honor the Alexandra, Princess of Wales. It's one of the most famous wet flies in the world, and many people got their first fish on this one. I got my first fish, first streamer fish on this one as well. It was banned from some rivers. That can be debatable. Maybe it was, maybe not, but some say that it was so effective that they had to ban it from some rivers. And that's a nice story to tell about one fly. It's designed to be fished as a wet fly, but I fish it a lot as a streamer, to be honest, and primarily because it resembles a minnow that lives in Serbian water, and I will show you the picture of that fish right about now. As you can see, it's quite good resemblance. It's quite accurate, so that's why I fish it as a streamer. But again, to be honest, I haven't fished it for a long time, and that's why I decided to present Alexandra to you and to present you one book that I really, really like. So guys, please tell me what you think about this idea, how you like this fly after I tie it, and let's get into it. So for the hook I'm going to use size 12 heavy wire hook. This is Wet Hook by RX. It's a very good one, sturdy. This can like pull a train, I think. Then for the tag end and for the sides I'm going to use craft store feather, which is not in a good shape as you can see, but it works well for this fly as you obviously can see from the model I just attached here. For the body I'm using this streamer tube material. I applied a little bit of super glue over here so it keeps them together, and then I just pull them apart, those loose ends. For the wing, obviously the most important part, it's Peacock Sword. This is like just perfect, beautiful color, and thread is 80 by Vivas, and that would be it. Now let's just hop into tying. For the purpose of this fly, as with many others, I like to use and I must use flat thread because it prevents bulk. You can use some ultra thin threads, that's also okay. So I'm gonna start the thread more or less where I want to start hackle. So the hackle will go from this point towards the eye. So this is going to be my body foundation here. So I'll just start it with flattened thread. Flat underbody is super important because of the tinsel. Tinsel will be wild if the body is not flat, and you don't want wild tinsel when you're tying a fly. So I'll just make the underbody nice. I'll go all the way towards the bend, not into the bend. Then I'll just strip off a bunch of barbs like so. I'll pull them perpendicular to the rachis, like so, and pull the rachis away. I'll fold them and just making like a roof. what the length I want is from the eye to the bend, so the body length, more or less. Like this. Attach it, so you have a gauge how much you need to keep it long every time you tie a fly. Now, very important thing to know is, I'm gonna make it short a little bit. Okay, very important thing to know is how to apply pressure once you proceed. With flat thread, go around the material and then up, pull the pressure. No pressure, pull the pressure. Now look what happens when you keep the constant pressure. The material rotates around the hook. Maybe it doesn't bother you, but sometimes it's better if you keep it on the top, just for the sake of predictability of what's going to happen next. So with flat thread, I'm catching more materials with less winds. Okay. Now when I'm almost near the end, I'm gonna cut this by an angle, and it's going to be a very shallow angle. So I keep this here nice and tapered for the tinsel. Okay. Nice smooth underbody. Now because I have super glue on this end, I'm gonna catch this exactly for that end, because it's the color is not as shiny as it was. I'm gonna cut this by an angle and attach it here. So first wrap should be flat. Okay, these wraps I'm gonna remove them later. As you can see, the first wrap lays flat. It doesn't create bump, so I can proceed nicely. And I was saying, you can see that the color was ruined by the super glue here, but it doesn't concern me because soon enough I'm gonna get into the proper shiny color. I don't want to overlap, I want to touch wraps. And then here I managed to damage it a little bit with my hands, so I'll just catch it with the tinsel. Change direction and go towards the hook eye. If the tinsel is too short, use the hackle pliers. Don't let it slide out of your hands, because it will unravel completely. So I pinched it with my index finger. I want it flat, so keeping from those wraps as even as possible. I don't want those wraps here. I can remove all of them because tinsel is holding itself. So, okay, I'm gonna catch it here. I need to remove one more wrap. Keeping the tension while you're doing this is crucial. So I'm keeping the tension here. Okay, looks okay. I'm gonna cut it a little bit further away, not like so. So I can catch it a little bit more with my thread. Now I want to make a nice taper over here because of the hackle. Hackle needs a flat foundation in order to listen. Let's call it listen to you, what you do. So if you want to wrap nice even hackle, you need to do a nice flat foundation. Now I'm gonna remove the excess barbs. So I'm gonna use like this. So this is going to be my tying point, like this here, and I'm gonna wrap this part. So let's see. First of all, I need to fold the feather, and how to fold the feather, my recommendation is to go to flyfisher.com, globalflyfisher.com, and search for Wayne Llewellyn's folding feather video. That's an amazing one. But basically you need to push it with your index finger and your thumb and force it, so sort of force it to be on one side of the rachis. In that video that I just mentioned by Wayne Llewellyn, you will learn this much better than what I am doing. I'm still learning. This is a new technique for me, to be honest. So I'm gonna cut this tip here. This tag helps me secure the wing here, secure the feather here. Counter spin the bobbin so the thread jumps into my hand, and then look at this, one wrap, then one next to it, and then one next to it. This is going to secure your feather much better than like 10 wraps, one on the top of another. Now grab the hackle pliers. Oops, what did I do? Anyway, he's here. So first wrap goes, and you can help it a little bit, but what is important is to place the rachis just in front of the previous wrap, like so. I caught one barb. Okay, so I was saying place the rachis right in front of the previous wrap. This one is not it's not folded well, that's why it's not listening to me that much, but still. Now look what I did with the bare rachis here. I'm gonna remove those wraps here, and I'm gonna catch the rachis. So I'm not gonna interfering with barbs, I'm just gonna catch the rachis which is already stripped of the barbs here. So it helps me make a cleaner tie off point. And the reason why I remove those wraps is because I want to make as small head as possible. If I kept those wraps, it would be like 2-3 wraps more than necessary. Okay, this is it. Now it's time for Peacock Sword, and there is not a rule how to do it. Some people will do symmetrical from left and right feather. I'm doing just from one. I'm choosing one that's not too curved as this one is. I'm choosing something like this, less curved. I keep them aligned, so perpendicular to the rachis. So I'll just keep them perpendicular, then I'll grab them here so I know how many of them to cut, or just do this. It's the same. Now keep them nicely aligned. I want them to align, I wanted to align it with the tail. Okay. Now counter spin the bobbin again. Okay. I'm going towards the hackle, and as you can see it's all messed up because of the pressure or something I did. So I'm just gonna do it again because I don't want it to flare that much. It's not important for the fishing, obviously the fish will do it for you, but for the sake of this video I'm gonna do it one more time. Check it, looks much better, and a couple of them are wild, well again wild. My thread is frayed because my hands are destroyed. I'll just do it again. Maybe some 10 barbs stripped. Okay, let's try to do it again. Yep, this is great. Okay. Trying to remove the frayed part of the threads. Okay, it's going to work now. Now, the last part of the fly. Sides. As I was saying, it imitates this minnow that's probably present in all European waters, but because I was fishing in Serbia, I noticed it there. It has those red marks on the sides and on the belly, so I think this is very much imitative fly. Okay, 3 on each side. What I like to do, I like to keep them, if possible, married together, and I pay attention to which side it's curved, so I can just follow the wing of the peacock wing. No pressure and pressure, and this should be it. Cut the tags, and with flat thread form the head, and we finish the fly. So I'm not gonna form the head with unnecessary wraps. I'm gonna form the head with wraps right now, like so, and I'm gonna cover those loose ends. If necessary, I'm gonna do a second wrap, which it's not. Now I'm gonna pull some tension here and cut this close. Let's see. I'll do something risky here. I'm gonna cover everything with my fingers and just go with my lighter fast. So I'm gonna burn this frayed part. Now, final touch would be super glue. Pay attention not to soak barbs, because it will stiffen them and they will easily break. So I'm just gonna try to touch the head. This fly deserves to be tied nicely to make it as pretty as possible, and let the fish do the job of destroying it and messing it up. So guys, please tell me what you think about tying of this fly. Have you used this fly before, and how it worked for you? If you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and see you next week.